I don't know why I bought this. The more I'm talking about it, it's like, why did I buy this? Everyone says something different about this author. You have to suspend your disbelief a good amount for this plot to work in your head. I'm entering a fantasy land and this might not make sense. Hi guys. I asked a question on TikTok the other day and I had the most bizarre experience in the comments section. And that was the inspiration, I guess, for this video. What I asked was very simple. Is Freida McFadden worth reading? All I've seen for the past, it feels like 4 years, has been Freida book after Freida book after Freida book. I don't know if she's writing them now or if they are like her backlists that are being re-released, which is, I think, possible. She has like a new publishing deal. Anyways, I've heard about her a lot. I've never actually read her. And the consensus on TikTok, out of like 300 comments, which is insane, by the way, because the video has like under 300 likes. It was like every 5 minutes I was getting a comment, every 2 minutes, really. Yes, no, like hell yeah, hell no, like all over the map. I came to the conclusion that everybody thinks something different about Freida McFadden. Some people love her books. Some people say run the opposite direction. I had some good like nuanced takes in there, which is probably something that I would think, saying essentially that she is like a quick popcorn thriller, but nothing cerebral. I feel like those are probably right. That's just my prediction. So that experience inspired this video, because what better way to share thoughts about a book than as you're reading it? As I said in that TikTok, I have a copy of The HOUSEMAID. It's been on my shelf for a couple years now, and I don't remember buying it, actually. I think I just bought it on a whim. I discovered that this has 2.3 million ratings on Goodreads. I have to look at the ranking for thrillers. I'm not sure. Goodreads is like a dinosaur website, so I'm not even sure if I can see this, but that might be one of the highest rated books in terms of number of ratings and not necessarily like star rating. I have some predictions as I go into this in this reading vlog. Did I mention that? This is going to be a reading vlog. You'll probably see that in the title. I'm going to read this over the course of hopefully one weekend. If this takes me longer, then I will be kind of upset and kind of disappointed in Freida McFadden, because why would you write these books that cannot be read in Memorial Day weekend? I'm going to read this. I'm going to vlog it, and I'm going to see how I do, how I like it. I'm a little bit nervous just because I don't want this to be something that I hate and then I don't want to finish it, but that's life, I guess. I'm not much of a thriller girl. I feel like I say that all the time and that I read thrillers and that I'm disappointed by thrillers. I'm a little bit worried about where this is going to take me. The reason why I like a mystery is that you have a crime that occurs, then the book is spent, the rest of the book is spent trying to figure out who did the crime. And a thriller is like something might happen, like an inciting event in the beginning of the book, but the pacing is reliant on this question of what's going to happen next. And that ultimately leads to a climax that makes or breaks the book. So a thriller, you don't really know if it's worth reading until you get to the end, that like final twist, to see if it was all worth the effort. The mystery, I have a good time pretty much from the beginning because that's where the crime is. That's the other thing about thrillers that kind of ticks me off. The good ones are really good. The bad ones are just bad. And then there's plenty of just lackluster ones out there that I just have never enjoyed. So here are my predictions for The HOUSEMAID. Number 1, easy to read. I expect simple prose. Number 2, quick to read, partly because of the simple prose and mostly because of the propulsive narrative of a thriller. That's just kind of like part of the deal. And number 3, I think I'm going to agree with the TikTok commenters who say that she is good for a light, quick read, but nothing terribly substantial. I have a good feeling that I'm going to read this and remember making the vlog more than the actual plot of the book. I just don't have a lot of faith in like actually enjoying this the way that I would something that I would pick up before. I don't know why I bought this. The more I'm talking about it, it's like, why did I buy this? I think because I was getting FOMO. Anyways, I'm not going to be left out anymore. I'm going to read it. I'm going to be one of you guys. There's a good chance that I'm just going to regret this. I don't know. I've also never filmed a reading vlog, so if it's kind of weird or boring, I'll work on that. This is a new channel. I'm working on everything. I'm going to read for a little bit here now, and then I have a couple errands to run, and then I might read more tonight. And then tomorrow. And then we'll see. We'll see where I end up. All right, you guys, wish me luck. All right, reading update. I'm about 50 pages in. I've been reading for like 30 or 40-ish minutes. Very easy to read. It's kind of exactly what I was expecting. I honestly didn't even read the description before starting it. I just assumed it was about a maid going to work for a wealthy family and then finding like some big dangerous secret. Yeah, we've got a really hot Italian gardener and a really hot husband, and then a really hot and cold wife. We have a creepy, spoiled child. We have an attic bedroom with a door that locks from the outside only, which is funny because after I stopped reading for a bit, I did read the back cover text, and it says, "By the time I realize my attic bedroom door only locks from the outside, it's far too late." She finds that out on page 25. Silly, silly description. This Italian gardener is cracking me up because look at this. Is it the best writing in the world? No, but I honestly think it's very accessible. It's very easy to read. And obviously I read kind of a lot very quickly, easy to latch onto and then like not get distracted. But yeah, there's my update. Okay, I'm taking a quick break. I'm going to the post office. I have 3 books to mail out, and one of them is actually the Clues Letter giveaway book, The Retirement Plan by Sue Hinsenberg. So I'll put the image here. It's like a fun summary read. So you know who you are. I emailed you. I hope you enjoy it because I'm going to read it this summer, I think, maybe after I finish Magpie Murders. I think I want something kind of light and fun and cute and funny. So, all right, here we go. Cool. That's done. Now we're gonna go to the P.O. box because I think I have a couple book mail packages. Yeah, let's go. Okay, this angle's kind of sucky. Okay, I'm ready. We see where this one's from. This one is, I don't know what this is. MPS Distribution Center. It is so hot today. I guess I should expect that. Oh, okay. Okay. How gorgeous is that? Oh, this is actually a YA horror novel. But I'm doing content for it. Oh my god, this is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. Gorgina. This smells really good. All right, I'll talk about this later. You'll see my video, maybe, hopefully. Let's open this big boy because I genuinely don't know what this is. Sometimes I request books and I forget that I've done that. Occasionally I will get like a surprise mailing. I know what this is. I didn't know they were going to send this early. Oh. Ah! Okay, I think I've talked about Shady Hollow before. It's a cozy mystery with woodland creatures. So I compare it to Redwall if there was like murder and crime. Shady Hollow, and wait. All the other books too, the whole series. It's so funny because I actually have the first 2. I went out and I bought Cold Clay, which is the sequel. And obviously I have Shady Hollow. I read it a couple years ago. I did read the holiday novella as well. Or it was like a short story. It was really cute. But now I have the whole series. These are some of my favorite covers in all of like cozy mystery land. These are so cute. So cute. I will be continuing the series, obviously, but I have something kind of exciting coming up with this, so stay tuned for that as well. This was great. I had a great time opening it right after I got it from the post office. A lot of times I will wait until I get home and then I'll film like a TikTok unboxing. I hate waiting, so this was great. I'm extremely tempted right now to go into, can you see that? Barnes & Noble, which is right behind me. Always very tempting. I know. I have a bee in my bonnet to look at the rest of the Freida McFadden books just in person for the vibes, but I don't think I'll go in there now. Maybe, should I? Yeah. I told myself I wasn't going to get anything, but I wanted this really badly. Well, technically I told myself I wouldn't get it unless I found it, and then I couldn't find it, so then I had to ask for help, but then I found it. So, let's go. I think these little windscreens are so cute. I know I don't need one inside, but like obsessed with it. Does it look stupid? Would you tell me? Okay, guys, reading's going fine. Not much to report. The suspense is ramping up, I guess I would say. I also posted a little reading update earlier. I'm 50 pages into The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. So far, so fine. And somebody said on that video that The Housemaid is her worst book. And I was like, dude, everyone says something different about this author. And it's like driving me nuts because I'm just trying to find out what's her best point of entry. A lot of people say The Housemaid. A lot of people say Never Lie and The Boyfriend. Those are the two that I hear that I saw most in those comments. So earlier I went to Barnes & Noble and I just wanted to look at the Freidas there. And I was going to film like inside the store. I did, but like not me. But there was a guy like sitting right there in the mystery section. And I just don't feel like I'm comfortable like vlogging in public like that yet. She has a lot of books though. I didn't end up getting any more. Like I said, I'm not going to buy any more of her books until I finish this one and I know for sure if I like it. I feel like I'm just not willing to spend more money on her. The sad thing is that none of her books, I don't think any of her books are available through Libby, and I get a lot of library books through Libby and not through physical copies. Freida has an interesting publishing arrangement. She has like a few different publishers. Like from my understanding, she has like a print deal with Poison Pen. Poison Pen has, I want to say like 16 of her titles. There's an interview that I read with Freida McFadden that was published in, I think, the New York Times, where she talks a little bit about, or the article at least talks about that arrangement. The Housemaid, the copy that I have is published by Grand Central, which is from Hachette. I don't know where I left off. I stopped the video, so I don't remember what I was talking about. Maybe her publishing. Oh, the library. Like she's not available through Libby. I think her audiobooks might be, but I'm an ebook library girl. And yeah, I just don't feel like buying any more of her. I'm not going to buy her ebooks. They're in Kindle Unlimited, which is how you know that they are probably self-published. Not all the time, but probably. I will get back to Housemaid and report back probably tomorrow with an update. I can tell something's gonna happen. Obviously, it's like so dramatic, but I'll let you know. Okay, I'm too lazy to turn on the light and tell you this, but it's definitely the husband. Something's wrong with that guy. He's too hot and too nice. I don't trust him. All right, good night. Not to say I told you so, but I told myself so. I was right. It's not a bad book. It's not a bad book. It's really not. It's just, I was hoping for something a little bit more surprising. I feel like a bad husband is like low hanging fruit. Ugh, I just thought it was really obvious, especially when you describe someone as being really overly nice and kind and also like really hot. I don't know. I thought it was kind of suspicious. However, I will say I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a little bit of fun. I wouldn't say that it's the most cerebral book I've ever read. And I feel like all the TikTok commenters are right about that. Like it really is so reader dependent on if this is like not just worth reading, but also entertaining. Because I think you do have to, I think I said this in a TikTok yesterday, you have to suspend your disbelief a good amount for this plot to work in your head. You have to be prepared to be like, okay, I'm entering a fantasy land and this might not make sense. I have my own thoughts on Millie. I feel like there's a lot of information missing here and we don't really know. She hasn't been put to the test yet. I read the part where she just got locked up. Well, I'm a little bit past that, but so when we go back to the present day, I feel like I'll like see what she's truly capable of. I think at least at the beginning in this book, you're supposed to think that she's desperate for a job, for a place to live, for money, and therefore willing to do the dumb thing of living there when everyone, including the sexy Italian gardener, is telling her to leave. Like you have to be a certain level of stupid to do that. And I have to be a certain level of stupid to believe that anybody would do that. Anyways, I'm going to read for a little bit longer and we'll see where I end up. I have a dance class later. I'm going to go to that. And yeah, I hope I finish this today. We'll see what twists are in store. I feel like there's got to be one or two. Not having a bad time. Just having a bit of a mental checkout time. Because again, you have to like be like, okay, I just can't care about the logistics here. Like this is what it is, and I'm not going to criticize stupidity because it's just going to happen regardless. But anyways, I'll keep you posted. Look, you guys, I can't let that happen. I can't. I'll do anything. Oh, that is the most obvious foreshadowing in the book, and that's saying something. Okay, I'm about to go to dance class, but before I do, I have a prediction, and I don't want to forget it. The prologue, I think, is written from Nina's POV, not Millie's. And I think you're supposed to think it's Millie's, but really it's Nina's. And she's meeting with the cops because there's a body upstairs in the attic, and the body is Andrew. I think Millie, I'm not sure, but I think she's got a bit of I think she's a tough cookie. And I think you're supposed to not think she is and think she's really trying to get her life on track, but really she's like some dark secret. I mean, she was in prison for God knows what reason, but I feel like she is hiding something more than the fact that she went to prison. I don't know. Otherwise, why would there be a series? I haven't looked at the rest of the book series, but like the descriptions, but I feel like she is, if she's in them, is it just her like doing bad stuff in all the books? I don't know. Anyways, I just didn't want to forget that before I leave, but we'll see.
This whole thing ends after the wife recommends the housemaid to another job. And she goes there and she's like, so and so gave you a glowing recommendation. And then, like, kind of fidgets with her collar and there's like a bruise under it from her abusive husband. So we're gonna get this house. Because I was wondering how this was gonna be a series. It's because the housemaid is just gonna go around killing, yeah, killing abusive husbands. I had a good time. That's what matters.
It's been about 2 days since I finished The Housemaid. And I feel like now is the time to talk about it. I've calmed down a little bit. My brain has rested. I've modified my Goodreads review to reflect my true feelings, which is actually not the 4 stars that I initially gave it, but rather 3 stars. And I'm starting to wonder if that was a little bit generous. I always struggle with books that I read quickly because I do get kind of dazzled by the idea that I read it so quickly. And really, I was quite entertained. But then you kind of let it sit with you a little bit and you process the plot and you realize that not only did I did I predict like the entire book, but that there really wasn't much beyond it. I think my prediction at the very beginning of this vlog that I would remember making the vlog more than I would the actual plot of The Housemaid, I think that prediction is correct. I don't see a lot here that is worth remembering just because I don't think it's really designed to be remembered. I think Freida McFadden is very famous for producing a lot of easily consumable thrillers, books that you are supposed to read in a single sitting, and not necessarily thrillers that are thought-provoking, unless those thoughts are like, God, why are you doing that? You stupid idiot. If every book that I read was like The Housemaid, I would be reading upwards of 100 books per year, easily. Probably 150 or 200 books, easily. Because even though I read this over the course of a weekend, I split it into like a Saturday and Sunday over multiple mini reading sessions. I could have easily read this in a single sitting. It's a combination of the way it's written and the way that a thriller is, where you really are supposed to read it quickly and then not think much beyond that. And I really feel like there is a time and a place for a book like this. I feel like in the future, I could very well be in the market for another Freida McFadden if I needed something that was turn your brain off reading, easy reading, quick reading, where you don't really have to be fully present while you read. You're reading for sheer entertainment. That's the vibe I got with this. And it's not necessarily a bad vibe. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to want a book that you can just read for pure entertainment. But it's not the kind of book that I want to read all the time. I know that my personal reading tastes, even within the mystery genre, I kind of vary with what I like to have in a book, but usually I see a quick, easy read as a good thing because that means I can read it quickly. But I do love a mystery that dives a little bit deeper, that has a more complicated plot, that has more complicated prose. Definitely something that I'm in the market for. I notice a lot of hesitation in the discussions about Freida McFadden to label her as anything other than a light popcorn thriller. It's as if even if somebody recommended her books, even if they loved and read all of her books, that they didn't want to recommend them without that like asterisk that, hey, this is an author that really isn't that amazing. It is a book that I found highly entertaining, but not one that I would recommend without one of those little caveats. I would have enjoyed this more if it was less predictable. Obviously, who wouldn't? There is kind of like an ego boost when you realize that you were right the whole time. That's always nice. But any book that is this predictable, if it's a longer book with more complicated prose and a more complicated plot, I would be furious that I got this much correct in my predictions. Absolutely livid. But because it was so quick and easy to read, I didn't really care. I think also if you read her books maybe in Kindle Unlimited or you get them for really cheap, there's also something like financially you don't really care because you're not spending $30 on a new hardcover. I just, at this point in my life, don't think I need more Freida McFadden. I am, of course, quite intrigued by the people who say that this is not a good representation of her work and that there are other books out there. So if that's you and you're like, man, and you have to read what are they? Never Lie, The Boyfriend, her other books that are maybe better. Let me know. I do want to hear those recommendations, and I could put them on a list maybe for a future video or future project, or just for those days where I literally can't handle anything deeper. This was a fun little experiment, though. I don't regret doing it. And I knocked a book off of my TBR shelf, so that's always great. Thanks so much to anybody who has offered their opinions on Freida McFadden to me. I love reading those comments. I love seeing the diversity of thought about her books and the discourse surrounding these books that are so clearly meant to be just consumable books. I love that we're still talking about them in more complicated ways than they maybe deserve. I will keep an eye out for that HOUSEMAID movie that's supposed to be in the works, because I will probably forget everything about it before I go and watch it, except for the husband thing. How could it not have been the husband? It was such a straightforward. Okay, I'm going to stop now. I'm going to say thank you one more time. If you have free recommendations, please let me know. And otherwise, I will catch you in the next video on the next case. Happy sleuthing.